Look at all this loot! DJ, none for you! Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and today I'm going to be looking at a package that was sent to me, as you can see, by Out of Darts. Luke from Out of Darts sent me this package, and I know one of the items that's in here, but the package is way larger than that item. So I'm really curious what other goodies he has sent me to review and to tinker with. So let's take a look. Alright, so I have it all organized here, and what I have is the standard Jupiter kit, as well as the extra stuff he sent me for extreme customization, apparently. The Jupiter can be ordered through outofdarts.com, obviously link will be in the description, and you can get it, as far as I know, you can get it pre-assembled, or you can get the kit, like I was sent. Obviously getting the kit is cheaper than having it pre-assembled, but you have to have all of the tools and the skills necessary to do so. Obviously, Luke felt that I had those skills, and so I could just go ahead and assemble it myself, which is very fair. What we have... Am I missing an important part? I feel I might be missing a part, which would be tragic. We will see if it turns up. Maybe it was in the box still. But you obviously have the full, the shell, which he has sent me three sets of handles, triggers, different barrels, which do have built-in hop-up. But that is, I believe, adjustable, so you could rotate it to make it shoot around corners and stuff, which is pretty cool. And then all of the hardware, though I don't see the pusher motor anywhere. It either wasn't in here or it's hidden somewhere else. It's what goes right there. I might have one, but I don't know that it's the right RPM. Luckily, I do. I don't know what the RPM are on this one, so my rate of fire might be something different than would normally be expected, but we will find out today. The kit comes with pretty much every single thing you could possibly need. Alright, so I have all of the parts that don't need to be soldered in place in. I've got the motors in, I screwed them in using the screws that were provided and some Loctite. I then put on the flywheels, they're just the worker serrated flywheels that are put on there. I've got the pusher motor with its little board soldered on there and then its wheel put in place. It just locks in there and then it'll be held in place, should be held in place by the shell, so it shouldn't wander on you. I have worked out which way the motors spin, so the inner leads are the positive, and the upper lead is the positive. So those are the ones that need to have positive to make everything spin the way that they need to spin. So now let's take a look at the wiring. It comes with enough wire to fully wire it if you are careful and don't, waste too much. You've got a length of black wire, a length of red wire, and a length of yellow wire. The yellow wire is, of course, for your motor braking. It will be on your trigger switch, COM, and will go to your pusher motor, and that will determine whether you've got negative or positive going to the positive side, which will halt the motor when you let go of the trigger, which will keep it from dribbling one last ball into your flywheels after you've already let go and possibly causing jams and all of that. So good idea to have that. Negative will be black, and it will just go from the battery to the negative on the pusher, negative on the flywheel assembly, and then to the normally closed on your trigger switch. Positive will come off and will go to your normally open on your rev, come out of COM, go to the normally open on your trigger, and that will provide the positive as necessary. It'll also come off of the rev trigger and go to the positive on your flywheels. unless you decide you want motor braking on those, which would be a whole different wiring, and I don't recommend it, and I'm not going to talk about it. So, here we go. We will start, I think, with that COM line. Alright, so that is all of the switches all wired up. We've got positive from the battery coming into the normally open on the rev switch, positive coming out of the COM going to the normally open on our trigger switch, and then also going from there to the flywheel, positive on the flywheel assembly. We then have negative from the battery coming to the normally closed on our trigger switch, and then COM coming out as this yellow that will go to the positive on our pusher motor. We will then have negative from the battery also going to the negative terminals on both of the motors. That way we have an electric brake on the rev trigger to the trigger, from the rev switch to the trigger switch, and we have motor braking on the trigger switch. So that should be all that we need there. We now just need to wire up the motors. Alright, the only thing I have left to wire is the battery jack back here in the end. Everything else is all wired up and has been tested. So just need to wire in the XD60 connector and we will be done. Alright, see if it'll all button up nicely and actually work. Always an important detail. It lives! Now, did I build it correctly? Very important question. I did! Now for the more important question. Where on earth are any of my rifle magazines? I might have to go dig. To the pile! Gotta admit, smoky black mags looks pretty good. I think I was at that by end of strike. Anyway, I am of course firing X-shot proton rounds. Get them from Out of Darts 2. Obviously the best color. And we're going to be putting them through the chronograph here to see what kind of numbers we're getting, because I'm kind of curious what the 2S Fang revamps are going to get with these rival rounds. So here we go. 87, 96, 90, 94, 87, 92, 94, 89, 95. Yeah, so high 80s, 90s. I had a couple that actually broke 100 on a previous magazine, so yeah, definitely acceptable for a 2S build firing rival. Alright, we've reloaded. We're going to give it a full mag dump just to see what the rate of fire is. I'm fairly certain it's going to be slow compared to most people's Jupiters because I have that 1500 RPM pusher instead of the 2000 RPM, so I'm going to be, you know, a quarter slower than most Jupiters, but I kind of like that because it makes it a little bit more controllable. I can get the occasional single shot, sometimes a double shot, whereas most people, it's like minimum 3 or 4 round burst. So, gonna just dump it and see what it's like. I like it. I think that is an excellent rate of fire. You could easily get 2 solid 6-round bursts out of that, I think. So, let's go outside and fling some more foam. I'm shooting at an absurdly close range. I just want you to get an idea of the rate of fire, because like I said, mine is kind of slow because I have a slower pusher motor that would be easily fixed just by putting in a higher one, but I kind of like the controllable rate of fire. But I'm going to do a mag dump into both of these 2 targets, and then we'll probably do some smaller bursts and see just how easily I can control it. So here we go. Lovely. Simply Lovely. Alright, let's try some bursts. Now, I've seen people who, because of how high their rate of fire was, they couldn't fire a single shot with one of these. It was always 3 or 4 shots at a time. But we're going to try just to do single shot and see how well that works through a whole magazine. So sometime I ended up with 2, but I was able to get single shots for most of them. So that's not bad. I like that. I'm not sure that I'm going to increase it because I kind of like being able to fire 1 shot at a time. I'm going to try some range shots. I'm interested to see how far this thing will shoot. It wasn't designed as a long-range primary, more as a hose, but we'll see how it works. And we're shooting at a range of about 50 feet. And I'm going to try to hit one of those targets, which is about a man-sized target here at 50 feet, which is kind of my benchmark for a good blaster. There is a bit of a crosswind, and that does negatively affect rival, but we're going to see if we can hit anything at all. I'll try the zombie this time. It's not dead on accurate, but at 50 feet, yeah, they're all fairly close. So yeah, I like it. They're cool. All right, now for the review part. So this is the Out of Darts Jupiter, and it is absolutely magnificent. Most of you are probably very familiar with them, but if you're not, get yourself one. These are fantastic. The amount of firepower that it has in this small of a package, and the versatility and the potential is absolutely astonishing. These were designed, I don't know if he originally designed it with the proton pack in mind, but it definitely is designed to easily do that. You can take the magazine out, put in a proton pack adapter. You have to do a little additional wiring so that the rev also agitates the tank and activates the blower, but that's a real simple thing to wire in. I will probably add it just so that I can use this either as a standalone or as a proton pack blaster. It would be a real simple addition, honestly. So I will definitely be doing that. As it is, it's fairly ambidextrous. It doesn't have a mag release, so you don't have to worry about that. It has a pair of spring-loaded bearings in there, which just lock the magazine in place and do a beautiful job. The only thing that's not quite ambidextrous about it is there is a little notch on this side to allow you to rest your finger when you don't have it in the trigger well, which you should for trigger discipline. Isn't an equivalent on this side, and I assume that's because of the internal design where the wires have to go and all of that. So I don't really begrudge them that too much. But being a lefty, I'm going to complain. But yeah, everything about it it's a beautiful design. I remember seeing the early prototypes that looked like they were designed by Mattel for toddlers. And now they've got a lot more detailing, and it just came out looking beautiful. Top and bottom Picatinny rail for all sorts of useful attachments. One I'd kind of like to see is somebody design a stock that attaches to the top rail but doesn't interfere with your ability to pull the magazine out. I don't think that would be too difficult, and I'd love to see that. I know Jose just put a stock on the magazine, which worked, actually. But the fact that it's getting those 100 FPS, which are roughly stock rival numbers, means that you should arguably be able to use this anywhere where you could use stock blasters, because it is made by a reputable company. This isn't, homemade, truly. You could argue that it is stock and that you can then use it anywhere where stock blasters are allowed, because it's got the same amount of power. But it has still just an inordinate amount of firepower. The rate of fire that you can get out of this is fabulous. And because of that, I think it actually makes an excellent last-ditch weapon for HVZ. The rate of fire they tend to have with the 2,000 RPM motors means you're going to dump too fast for it to really be a good primary in most cases, though I've seen it done successfully. As your horde buster, it works absolutely fantastic. So, your primary jams, if there's just too many zombies coming, you pull this out and you just sweep with it. I've actually seen Jose at OSU took out an entire zombie charge by himself. They were all stacked up on one kid with a shield, and Jose was able to sidestep enough and strafe the entire column and took out 4 or 5 zombies in one burst. And they weren't even mad. They were like, how? Okay. And they all went and respawned, and then they came back, and I think he got tagged like 30 seconds later. But it was a glorious moment. And that's the sort of thing that you can do with this. And it helps because it's so small and because it takes rival mags, which don't take up a lot of space. It's something you can easily integrate into an HVZ loadout without it becoming too cumbersome. Generally, anything else that had this amount of firepower would take up a lot of space, but this one just doesn't, and it's beautiful. This one was built for 2S. It's got the Fang revamps and the 2S LiPo. The battery housing is fairly spacious given the size of the blaster. And so you could, I know there are 3S batteries that will fit in there. So if you wanted to run it on Krakens or Valkyries, you could. I don't know that it would give you that much of an improvement, though I definitely want to find out. This one was sent to me by Luke because he's awesome. I do want to get, to order one that is the reverse colors. Orange grip, black body, orange nose, get orange magazines for it. And do that one up as a 3S build. And then compare them side by side. So the other one, it'll be Krakens on 3S versus Fang revamps on 2S. Is there really that much of a difference in the numbers? I'm really curious to see if it improves. If there isn't as much sag between shots because the 3S is torquier. The RPMs on the two should be roughly the same. So I don't know if your FPS is going to go up. I'm really curious though. I want to test. And I definitely want to rewire it for Proton Pack, which is simple enough. He has an adapter that just locks in just like that, and then you just have to wire the rev trigger to have a jack that allows you to plug the backpack into it. And you can still use it normally. So I'm definitely planning to do that, and that should be a lot of fun. And I will definitely integrate this into probably my primary HVZ loadout that I take with me when I travel. Because it's so small, and all I need to do is find a holster. I don't think this will fit in a double AK pouch. I haven't tried, but I'm suspecting it's probably a little bit too big. But I might then finally get a holster or just get a dedicated holster for it because I definitely like it and I want to use it. So there you have it. The Jupiter by Out of Darts. It is a fantastic blaster. Links will be in the description. Get yourself one. I'm going to get myself another one. Thank you for sending me this, Luke, and thank you guys for watching. Bye!